Hey, we back. Oh my goodness. Yeah, we back. So we here to talk about RHOA.
And y'all jump down in the comments for me because listen, I done got sleepy, like my eyes is getting heavy. So get in the
Yeah, yes, yes.
comments.
And let us talk. Let me get this thing shared over here. Hold on a second. And I'll share it in this group. But yeah, what you think of the episode, first
Please
of all?
interrupt that. I gave the episode like a 3, and I felt like that was being generous for me. I mean, listen, um, of course, we started off with Brit, of course, the aftermath of the Kenya's event and everything that took place during Kenya's event. And Brit, I guess, is the victim in all of this. And I'm not trying to say it so lightly as to like again, Kenya, what she did was disgusting and wrong. I don't think anybody, thinks anything other than that. But Brent, you are really milking this. And I'm just kind of like not here for any of that, like girl, because you really were poking Kenya. And maybe Kenya just got beat at her own game.
Yeah.
Because that's what it looks like to me from Brit's behavior on this episode.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and yeah, and again, I gave it a 3 just because there wasn't really a lot of story happening in the episode. So I'm just like, I mean,
Girl,
mm,
it was like pulling tooth and nail. I
mm-hmm,
sat there. I said it didn't get good till like the last 2 minutes of the show. I
mm-hmm,
said, and
mm-hmm,
why they took it? It had to be an hour and 15 minutes.
for real.
Girl, on my guide, it said like it was gonna be on for an hour and 45 minutes. I said, "Oh no, I ain't got time to be
Yeah,
sitting there
like
watching."
what is going on? Especially the fact that we know we're not hearing from Kenya. So what would there be to talk about? You know what I mean? I think that's another thing that's bothering me is that this narrative that Brit is able to run with, it's just real I don't know, it's real slick.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I
Kenya, you got beat at your own game.
she did, and
Yeah.
that's what the Funky Dineva had said. If you watch his response to review of what Kenya had did, and he
Mm-hmm.
said, me personally, I was never a Kenya fan. Period.
Me.
I said she could probably be the nicest lady outside the show, but on this show, bitch, I didn't like you.
Mm-hmm.
So getting that out the way. Plus, I got upset with Brit Edie started making me feel sorry for Kenya. I said, I
Mm-hmm.
don't like that bitch. Now, so here we are. And what Funky Dineva has said, Kenya would basically poke the bear, poke the bear. Now, I don't think she did that to Brit, but
It didn't
poke the
seem
bear.
like it unless we
No.
missed, it didn't seem like it.
And usually she would get people to respond because he also brought up the fact like when Kenya and Toya, I keep saying Toya, Kenya and Portia got into it, and Portia dragged her across that reunion stage. First thing she said was, "Get her out of here. You out of
Mm-hmm.
here." So now that we're watching this and watching it unfold, and here, Brit saying things like, because she needs to apologize to me. Maybe we can sit down. I'm like, ain't she fired from the damn show? What the fuck she need to talk to you about? I
And
don't
that's
know.
the other thing. Like, I don't like you have a hard on for Kenya for some reason, and she's getting a kick out of which again, Kenya got beat at her own game. I guess it's par for the course as far as this is going, where Kenya is concerned. But as far as a viewer watching it, it's not making me root for Brittany. Or I don't know why Brit. I guess her name is Brittany. I don't know why I just
Yeah,
gave
I
the
think it is
girl.
Brittany. Mm-hmm.
But anyway, it doesn't make her any more interesting. I really think that she should be gone as well. And this little she needs to apologize, and she still hasn't apologized to me yet. And it's like, girl, who are you? First,
Girl.
yeah, and I don't know why you got a hard on for that girl. But again, whatever you came to achieve, you did it. And again, Kenya, you should have been smarter. Really,
It's exactly.
put that battery in your back, but you should have been smarter than that.
Exactly. So we're at episode 6. It's season 16, episode 6, and it's called Peace Interrupted. And I said, wow, that insurance lady is lying. Because she's the liar. And I can't help it. I said, because when she brought up all that about the insurance, and I used to hold insurance license. No, girl, it don't work that way. So the first thing the producers was asking Mia anyways, in the confessional, what did she think of last night? Or something to that effect. And she said, my heart was in my stomach. Portia said she was disgusted. It hurted her. She thought it was ugly. And it was hard to digest. Kelly was wondering how the women were going to move forward. And basically Cynthia said, she expected more out of Kenya. And who else they would have asked? I don't know. Did they ask Drew?
I don't remember.
I don't remember. Angela Oakley, I don't remember. She said something. But that's it. Anyway, so how do you feel about, what the ladies had to say about how they felt about what went down while Kenya was twirling to the pits of hell?
I mean, we just said it. Yeah, it was disgusting. Like, yeah, it was disgusting.
And so we do find out it was a real peen. It wasn't a cucumber.
Right.
So they go 48 hours later.
And I guess she nude also.
Yeah, it was supposed to be her boyfriend or whatever. So let's go. The 48 hours later, we have Brit crying, looking pitiful, and her husband, he doesn't give that he's that emotionally attached to her.
No, again, that's going like what I was saying in the last video about it explains a lot with this Ming Lee, with that information, her being friends with Kenya, and then it explains the heat you brought with I'm married. This is my second wedding ring. This is the anniversary ring. And, having this need to prove to whoever, Kenya, somebody, us, what, like you are really working hard to prove it. And I agree. The husband seemed a little checked out. Like, are they married? Somebody needs to go track down the marriage license.
Listen. I was watching Sherelle World. That's what they said on Sherelle World on YouTube, because she did a background check. She cannot find their marriage license. They don't believe that's his real name.
Okay, and something is giving real shady something, and you're working too hard to prove something else. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
You work.
They were also they don't really believe that she ever had an insurance agency. They believe it was a front for something else. They said because allegedly that she was an escort and she had her OnlyFans. Because I'm like, when she said she sold the business, I was like, okay, she's 37 years old. How long had you did insurance? And you sold it, you're a young person. Then I was thinking, because she said she may lose her license, but you've already sold the business. So make it make sense, why
she definitely is milking this victim role, and I'm not here for it. And again, it's not because I'm not a Kenya stan. I agree with you. I've never really liked Kenya during this whole time. As a matter of fact, I was glad that things have caught up with her because she has been playing games with people for a really long time.
Yes.
Yeah, it ain't no fun when somebody else got the gun. You know what I mean?
It's not.
How powerful intended. But at the same time, I'm not here for what Brit is bringing, because again, this doesn't make you any more interesting. Like, you are just as boring as you were the first time we saw you. And all of the trying to be more interesting. Girl, the most interesting thing probably was those photos.
Exactly. So then we got, she's crying in the confessional. And like, oh God. She's crying in the confessional. She talks about she paid $250 for the flowers for Kenya. And I'm like, if she's such a big boss, why are you bringing up the money you paid for those flowers? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Because you're a big boss lady or whatever. You got money like that. $250 ain't nothing.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't
Mm-hmm.
bought that, did that for some friends for,
Mm-hmm.
when they went through something.
Right.
Then she was saying that she was humiliated in front of over 200 people. And she also talked about she may lose her may lose her license. I was like, no, liar.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The liar is talking now. Then she talked about how when she was in her 20s, she tried the webcam. I'm like, what? What you mean you tried the webcam? You mean you had an OnlyFans? Then she said also, how she's going to explain this to her mother. Yeah, she did have fellatio on her boyfriend, and he let her, she let him film her. And she was supposed to be a teenager, is what she said. And I go, blah, blah, blah. The walk of shame. She on the whole stroll, honey. I really don't feel sorry for her, because when I feel like this, if you're going to try to come at me, and
Don't be
I
having
guess she
your
didn't.
skeletons like that in your closet. Like, girl, you need to
Exactly.
sit your tail down somewhere. And I
Exactly.
agree, like that's what I'm saying. Like, also, furthermore, you know your past better than see. This is where Kenya gets with everybody, because when she exposed you, now it's like she's ripping something off it, but you could have came in the door just really owning
Owned it.
whatever it
Yes.
was. Yeah, like, and you could have took that, even though, like I say, she screwed herself in the end, so it worked out for Brit because that girl is not there filming. However, I'm saying it was just a different way to get it done, to skin the cat. And
Yeah.
like, yeah, but I'm saying, like, even you didn't have to be embarrassed. Like, and so here's the thing: she talked webcam. That goes speak to a time frame of which she talked about. They didn't have OnlyFans. That is the way people started, doing stuff on webcams and stuff. Listen, where was your mama and your daddy then? Why was you somewhere sitting up trying to experiment with webcams and stuff? So that's go back to the other thing, like, own it, like, be who you are, like, because I'm not necessarily judging her about it, but it's just like, don't try to sit up and make it seem like something else to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, you knew what you was doing. If you in rap videos, or you're a video vixen, like the way she said it, I was a video vixen in high school, as if that was a badge of honor or something. That didn't seem like anything. I didn't want to give you a 2 thumbs up, like, oh girl, you go, like, for real.
You get
No,
it.
it
You
was
get
like,
it.
girl, why the fuck you wasn't in algebra class?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, like, girl, like, no, like, not everybody has the mentality of, like, the stripper mentality. Like, that's not, cool. And so, yeah, so now don't try to use it against us, like, well, I was young and this and that, and you knew what you was doing. You was young and full of and acting
Come.
grown, that your mom would say the same thing if she could.
Exactly.
But I was glad
Yeah.
that at least her mom, like, she had a conversation with her mom. Now that's the other thing. Now I wondered if the husband or whoever this man is to her, if he knew anything about this information. He did seem really cold, but he might feel the same way I feel. Like, girl, handle your stuff, like, 'cause that's what it is. Ain't no point in crying about it now.
No, it's not. It's not. And because she was like, because I have to have these conversations with my mom.
You should have known that when you was doing it.
I don't. If it would have been me, I still wouldn't have had a conversation with my mom. Well, this is what happened, but I ain't about to go. If you want to go and try to find
I
it, because
mean,
like we
you
can't
can't
find it on the
love.
internet.
if you gotta tell it, you can't have like if she telling her something is wrong or something happened, you gonna have to go into the detail
I
about
ain't about to do all that. They
it.
got some sex images of me. That's about it. Because
Right.
far as we the viewers, we still ain't seen the images. So
Even still, even me as a parent, like if my son came and said something like that, I still would want to know, well, how did somebody get access to something like that? You know?
So I wonder how did the boyfriend video got out?
Maybe it's something that they had up already. Like, you know what I'm saying?
This would have to be a video from 20 years ago.
Some type of way, you know.
Yeah, this would have to be, you know, she's 37. She said she was a teenager, is what she say.
Mm-hmm.
That's what the difference with Ming Lee was saying. The picture she have is from 2011.
Mm-hmm.
So that's not what Kenya put up there, is what she's trying to say. But if this is from a time when you were a teenager, over 20 years ago,
I don't think that's true either, though. Like, so I agree with Kempire when it comes to like moves the conversation on. Kenya didn't do anything against the law. Like, she is fine. No, she don't have any charges against her, because especially if we're talking like, you know, like the insinuation of whether somebody was a minor or not. Like, shut the F up. You wasn't. You know what I mean? Like, because that is a crime and something would have happened to Kenya by now at this point, if that was, you know, be the case. So whatever it was, it's not what she wanted to paint it out to be. Like, that's my thing. Kenya's actions caught up with her. She is off the show, but you are not a victim. That's it. You're not no victim.
No, especially when you were into allegedly into sex work anyways. That's what they're saying.
I mean, that's my point, though. You're not a victim. Like,
not at all. So then we have, you know, Kelly comes over to comfort her. And I thought, you know, she's been a good girlfriend. And, you know, and throw a little shade. You know, she told her, you look fabulous. And she's saying to herself, she looks a mess. She said, you always look a mess. I was like, she's a little spunky little lady. I like her. I really do like Kelly. I just wish she would stop with all that, but I think I think she's a nice lady. So she had a lady come over, the IV specialist, to give her these different, you know, IVs they do down there. Have you ever done that before?
No, I have not.
Neither. My little brother has done it. Said, I don't know. I that ain't nothing I think I want to do. Anyways, and then they were talking about things and about getting some IVs that would help, you know, with aging and whatever. And then Brit brings up, I hope when I get older, I don't be like Kenya. I go, what?
Yeah.
You got King. You know what? The ghost of Kenya was on this episode big time. They talked about Kenya more than they talked about anybody else. Go ahead, Kenya. So then Kelly says, you know, really she hated like the experience that Brit had with Kenya, because she had an overall good experience with Kenya. You know, she thought, you know,
she brought that shit on herself. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like, I like nobody, and again, unless there is something that we missed, but I don't think we did. You know what I mean? Again, it's obvious, Brit, you wanted something with Kenya, like, and you got it. That's just that. You got what you was asking for.
Yeah, you can't be the person who go out there and want to strike the match, and then when the fire comes in, you want to cry. Right. You didn't did that, you know, so you got to deal with it.
As we get through past to the brunch, you know, like that energy she brought for Aunjella, like that again, going back, it's kind of like, okay, like, yeah, you was doing that to antagonize. You knew what you was doing. And so it just solidifies what I'm saying. She's not a victim in anything. Like, it happened. You embarrassed, as you should be. You know what I mean? Again, she had no business doing like that. That is embarrassing stuff for, you know, to happen to anybody. You know what I mean? I sympathize with that. But you're not a victim, girl.
No, she's not.
And you're not
No, she's not.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because we don't know what her husband does, or her so-called husband. And what is she doing for money now? If she sold the
Yeah.
business, what did you invest it in?
Mm-hmm.
What's making you this big bad girl? This boss
Mm-hmm.
bitch. I don't see it. So
Mm-hmm.
then she even, you bragged on it being a video vixen, but we don't even know what videos you really were in. Other than
Mm-hmm.
this
Mm-hmm.
one with the
Right.
fellatio going
Exactly.
on. That's it.
Exactly.
That's all we know you for. And
Right.
so Kelly had mentioned, let's see what else we got up here. Um, Kelly wants to get the ladies together. She's talking about that brunch. So the next place we see everybody, we see folks coming over to Sterling Hall at Miss Shamia's house. And then we have Kelly arriving first, and Shamia calls her little pocket doll. I see her because she looks so tiny compared to the rest of the ladies. And then Portia arrives. Aunjella gets there, and she got her fan going. And I like Angela's confessionals though, because she said, contrary to what everybody thinks, I'm not perimenopause. I'm the hottest bitch in the room. She said it's hard to be a bad bitch in the room. I said, yeah. She said she the hottest bitch because honey, like she be hot for real. I said, is this girl going through menopause? Because she's like younger than Portia and Shamia.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm.
and then so
Could be maybe she had a hysterectomy or something. You know what I
she
mean?
says
Like
she's not yet.
like that's the whole thing. Like, girl, you gonna try to check everybody else in the confessional about no, I'm not perimenopause. Well, stop carrying a fan around everywhere like you are. Like,
Girl, we ain't got her hot.
get a new stylist. Cause you know what I'm saying? Like,
Exactly.
no matter like you might be having it for some other reason, but you know what you look like because who else walk around with a 24-hour fan around them? You know what I mean? Like, and so that's what most people call it, like you having your own personal
That's no
summers.
summer. Yes, right. I haven't got that yet. I'm 52. I haven't got it yet.
Mm-hmm.
And then so we have Shamia, I'm not Shamia saying that, she needed to take a minute to process everything that had happened at the event. And Portia says it was Kenya's choice to twirl on down the hell. And Kelly says she thinks she's still down the hell twirling. And all the women pretty much agree that, Kenya went, a little far or too far.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
Kelly says that, if that had been her, she don't know if she could ever trust her again, and they asked
Mm-hmm.
Portia, let's not talk about me. She said, cause
Mm-hmm.
she said, cause she wouldn't, she wouldn't have nothing to do with her no more. But, that's them. She says, not me. And so, Shamia moms, gives the women some, encouraging words or whatever. So Angela's still pressed about what Portia had said about Charles. So she wanted to know, hey, Portia, what you talking about? And Portia just let her know, hey, I was just playing. So then, she said her little smart shit in the confessionals, like she got somebody who might know something for real. So,
Mm-hmm.
So, then Drew, she arrives late and she's dropped off by her Uber driver. I wonder why they
Mm-hmm.
mentioned that.
Who? For Drew?
Why did the production make it known that she got out of an Uber car? Uber.
I don't know.
I don't know, but so
Yeah.
so they're talking about divorce. And they're talking, kind of asking Drew what's going on. And then Portia, she talks about what's going on and how Pilar was asking about Simon. And then she got to crying because she sent Simon a text about Pilar asking about him. And he just left her on read, or either he read it and just did not respond. And then Shamia comes over, because Portia starts crying. So Shamia comes over and gives her a hug and, embraces her. Shamia, I know Portia's your friend, but me and my friend couldn't be continually doing like this because I've been a look, friend, me and you need to talk. Because what I'm hearing is not nice. And I'm the way I'm feeling. So I don't know. that's one thing I kind of don't like about Shamea. And someone else said it, that they feel like Shamea is portraying herself to be like a pick me, like with Portia and all that. Because I don't know. I think when I feel like I'm being shaded by someone, me and you about to have that conversation. Because you're not going to sit there and make me feel a certain way. And then I just kind of take it on the chin. No, that ain't about to happen. So, so then Kelly basically tells the lady about the garden brunch. And then in this conversation, they talked about Chicago for some reason. Drew said something about Chicago, and or somebody said something about Chicago, and Drew.
They were drinking Michael Jordan's liquor.
Okay, that's what that was. And then Drew says that Michael Jordan is her cousin because they have the same maiden name. Or are they really cousins? I was
so thirsty. She I told y'all, she reminds me of Dr. Contessa. Like, girl, shut up. Like, do you know how many
Jordan
people like Jordan? Like, get out of here.
You need to send her a cease and a desist.
Man, well, she did the same thing about LeBron James in one of the seasons.
Yes, she sure did. She sure did. Yeah, that she knew him.
Name dropper. It's because she's a liar, you don't know if she even telling the truth or not. But that's how she scooted that in. Listen, I like the type of friend Shamea is. I feel like on one end, there's like, yeah, I'm not saying that maybe her friendship with Portia doesn't seem unbalanced, but I like people who are just genuine in who they are. So you like, because somebody else is acting crazy or strange or not being right, I don't think that should change how you behave and what the way you show up. So yeah, I think she would look like a bitch if her friend was over crying about her divorce, and because you mad about something she said, not to say she didn't have a reason to feel that way, but because you sitting up stewing about that, you won't comfort your friend. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I don't know what type of behavior that is, but I wouldn't be okay with somebody who did.
I think I might be real petty because before it would have got to this, I would have said something back before. Hey,
that's what I mean. Like, I'm not saying that how she should, like, the way she should feel about that, she should not bring, like, I can understand her having a feeling about that, and I agree you should probably have a conversation with her about it. But like say, that wouldn't cause me to be mean to you, and that's just kind of, I feel like for me, that's just who I am too. And it might be a part of people pleasing in that or something, you know what I'm saying? But what I'll do with a person is, if once I get like really to the point where I'm thinking maybe you taking advantage, or you know what I'm saying, like it's not, then I'm gonna just not fuck with you at all. You know what I mean? Like it's not going to be, because I'm a good person. I'm gonna be good to the people around me. So if I determine that maybe you're not that, then you just not gonna be around me. Like you don't get to like do that.
She need to open her. I don't know what causes her to open her eyes, but something's going to happen. And but it just seems
I'll
that.
tell y'all what, I'm not even looking forward to them having a rift with their friendship. I hope that whatever it is that we see, that by the time we get to reunion and wrapping up or whatever, that is wrapped up with them. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to see them. I don't want to quad and Mariah. You know, like I just don't. I don't want to see another friendship go through that because they're a housewife or because they on this platform type of deal. I would hate that.
Well, so I'm hoping that Candy had let it be known that they weren't really fooling with each other like that. But just this past weekend, they were all together at someone's baby shower. So maybe
Ariel's wife. So they're having
that's what that was.
they've been married 20 years and they are having their first baby.
Get out of here. That's like Ricky Bell from New Edition. Wow. Well, congratulations to them. I didn't even notice who it was, but oh wow, 20 years. And well, hope Sweet Tea gets hers pretty quick.
Right.
That's a long time to wait. Wow, 20 years. The Butter Love Man. Girl, I just thought he was so cute. And I mean, not that he's bad looking now, but you know, not to be looking at somebody married, I guess. And then so what we got left over here? Our next scenes. I know we have, look, because I didn't write down no more. We got Portia and Shamia. They're out doing like, what's that? Putt golfing or something. And they're talking about things. You know what, girl?
Filming everywhere but her house.
Yeah. Girl, she's doing her YouTube page in her house though.
Right. Yeah, she is.
She's doing that, honey, because I even see, you see the one today and Dennis is there. So, but yeah, I don't know. They're playing putt and they're talking about what is she talking about? I didn't catch it.
What did they talk about while they was there? That's right. Yeah.
I kept saying, Lord, please.
Filming, because they did the flashback showing that Dennis actually did film. She was like, yes. Oh, Dennis basically was trying to get her to kind of say like, well, I don't want you to film with Drew.
Yeah.
But again, we saw that they filmed anyway. I think that that's a dead story right there. I feel like that's more Drew than Portia. I know I've seen in the comments a lot of people like, well, I don't know why Portia is holding on to this. And it's like, I don't think that she is. I think it's more Drew than anything. But at this point, we know that Portia really doesn't care. And again, why should she? Like, as long as he make it, which Portia seemed, Drew seemed to make it clear. I don't know what type of contract she in, but whatever it is, I guess he doing good with royalties and whatever his percentage is when it comes to that.
Yeah, what she say?
A statement about maybe, and that's the other thing with Drew. Like, I don't know why you talking about other people's children. Like, why you even mentioning something like that? Oh, that's when they get to the studio. But yeah, she mentions to Shamia that you know, with the contract, the way it's set up, that that PJ can have her college paid for. And Shamia, like, as she should, let her know, like basically that's not even in your concern. Like, I don't even know why that's in your brain about where your money going to, like, it's gonna pay for. She said, I think she already has that taken care of. Talking about, well,
I can get some snacks.
Yeah. You know, and it's like, girl, like, why did you even bring that up again? You so eyeball, you so offbeat, your timing sucks, like, you're not funny, like, it's all of that. Like, you are Ralph to us. Like, go away, girl.
Yes, honey. Okay, so what do you think about this? That's gone over. Look, this is all probably out of order because I ain't write down no more, but I'm remembering some of the stuff now. The scene with Ralph and Drew. And I'm like, what was she so upset about? Okay, he said he paying all the bills. Can't nobody pay for the exterminator? I don't understand. That's only a couple $100.
You know, that goes back to Drew being Drew. I feel like that was just, now again, they do it to each other. You know what I'm saying? Like him coming upstairs, and like when she was getting in the car, she's like, well, he never come up. I believe her. You know what I'm saying? Like, he probably was just doing that to get up under her skin. But here's where Drew is just like, I don't know, because girl, why are you trying to have any conversation with him? If y'all have to communicate through an app, that is just proof enough that you cannot communicate with him. So when it lit, I just felt like with the exterminator, and that's the thing, and that's what you when to talk to him about. Girl, either pay it or put it in the fucking app. But like, I just this annoys me. Like, why am I watching this? You know what I'm saying? Because no, like, this is stupid.
Exactly. I'm like, it's ridiculous, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, especially, we're watching this show and we're hoping that, we're looking at a show where we see people have more, these are affluent people. You're supposed to be acting like you are, and you're bickering
not
over.
Drew is broke. Like, Drew is
I
barely making
understand that, but
me.
she said what she said. She's above all everybody else. Remember the people in her tagline? So she need to be acting the part. I would have never talked about me personally. If I'm on this show and I'm supposed to be pretending like I got a little money or something, a little bit more going on than the people watching it, that I'll be sitting up here complaining about, and then in the car crying about the
Now,
extermination.
listen, I kind of understand in a sense, like, if he's supposed to do it, then do it. But my point is that why are you trying to have a conversation with him about it? Put it in the app and move on. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. So, so they had him, he had his own confessional. Here you go. So I believe he's a peach holder now. So Ralph got his own goddamn on peach because he got himself a confessional. I'm like, he's getting treated better than Kenya. He got his own peach. He's a peach holder, honey. He showing up is, and I just thought this scene was stupid. Then her sister coming out, her sister / mama, allegedly. I don't know. Alice, whatever her name is, comes out. I guess maybe, like they say, we watching the edited version, but I didn't see what would make her so upset. Me personally, if my house got whatever.
He probably does things that antagonize her, and she probably knows that when she's doing it, that she's not wanting to react. So you're gonna do it while the camera's around because she's gonna not try to be, you know what I'm saying, like angry or whatever. It's like she want to make it seem like everything's fine. You know what I mean?
So why cry?
So what I'm saying is, what I think, and I don't think it's that hard to see, that he antagonizes her, like he does.
Well, my thing is, okay, if I know I'm doing this show and me and my husband don't get along and we're going through a divorce, I don't think I would want him on the show. Period. I think I would be filming from somewhere else. I would, if he antagonizes her that much to her crying about whatever, that I would not be filming with him. He would not be on the show filming with me, period. That would, because you see Simon ain't on there. I wouldn't have him on there. It would be, I'm going through my divorce.
Simon is not in the country.
Well, he was making all these other things.
Like, you know what I mean?
I mean, but that's what I'm saying. I would have moved into an apartment or something. I would not be sitting there.
So I feel like this, not even being funny, but that's what I said. Some stuff, you can kind of cut out the debate in a sense. Which I think they said it in the last episode when she met with the lawyer. But I feel like if two people are sticking in the house, like first off, about, I think Georgia, maybe California, we watched a few housewives go through divorces. So a lot of times the issue with everybody trying to stay in the house until something is finalized or until somebody's told to move it's about the bills. Number one, like who gonna pay them? And then two, sometimes a person can say that a person abandoned their marriage if they leave the marital home. So or they can't afford to be out, because if you are the husband and you are ordered to pay the bills where the wife and kids are staying, maybe you can't afford to have your own place. You know what I'm saying? Like I say, I do think they on the they probably have more money than I do when I'm calling them broke. You know what I'm saying? But as far as where in the circle that they moving in, they're the brokest ones there. Like they like the
Okay.
Alex and Simon of from New York of Housewives. If you know, you know. But yeah, Alex and Simon is them. And so that's what I mean, like him being there and stuff. There's a reason why we're not privy to it, but it probably is something financial. You know what I'm saying? And again, I think when people get a divorce, somebody's trying to win something. So that go back to why you stick your heels in the ground and don't leave the marital home. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
So, you
okay,
know,
that's fine. That's fine. But my thing is also is when she said that they had to talk, only could talk through the app. So I mean, if they're only talking through the app supposedly, then why is he filming?
I don't know. That's something I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But because here's what we know. We know he doesn't have a contract. You know what I'm saying? So whatever reason it is for him filming, it's got to be with Drew's permission. You know what I'm
Exactly. That's
saying?
what I'm
Because
saying. That's
they
what I'm
don't
saying.
have contracts with the husbands and with the
That's what I'm
men.
saying. If he
So, yeah.
antagonizes her that much, then why did she agree to him?
Maybe that's how he
film of
makes
her?
some of his money somehow. I don't, that's you know what I mean?
Girl, I think that's
But
all the
I mean, but it's
storyline.
clear that this boy antagonizes her.
I think it's all the
That
storyline.
is clear.
Yeah, but I think it's a storyline.
It
I don't think
definitely is. And that's what I say. And they do each other because, like you said, if you got this app to talk to him, why do you keep trying to have conversations with him?
Yeah. So they have their
Drew,
conversation. So, but she had to go and stay at a hotel for the weekend?
I guess, honey, that's what it sounds like. But you got to tag your sister along too. Like, here she is. You already broke. She comes. She ain't got nothing either.
Ain't her sister her manager?
Girl, I thought the girl was on damn near having a breakdown. Like, is she even mentally capable of being on somebody's manager? Right. The last time we saw Allison, y'all had us thinking that girl was like at the, you know what I'm saying, like tail end of, like basically being in an insane asylum.
Yes. You know, who did a interview with Allison? Oh my goodness. Someone did an interview with her. And Allison actually, she had it going on. Behind the scenes, she worked with a lot of people. Her resume is big. So so she is the one who's responsible that made the ways for Drew, but she's responsible for a lot of other people's careers too. So I thought, I don't know, they did make her seem like she was, about to fly to
It made it seem like she was about to go to the crazy house.
Girl, they was cooking up them storylines. I swear to God.
From it, I mean, one or the other. I can't even remember. Did she just get released from the crazy house, or was she on her way going? But it was one or the other because the girl wasn't mentally stable.
Wasn't it because of her failed marriage or something? Wasn't it?
I don't even remember Drew giving us a real reason.
I thought it was because of the marriage, or maybe I learned that in the video. Who? Oh, okay. It was Mims, I think. Make It Make Sense interviewed her, and it was a pretty good interview, though. I was pleasantly surprised to hear all the things that lady had accomplished, and she accomplished a lot. So, anyways, we get past Drew and her sister. They're crying and getting ready to go to the hotel, and we have We have Kelly and her daughter about to do yoga outside. I didn't get her daughter's name, but it's the oldest one. And they're discussing that the stepdad is out of jail, and that basically, I guess he want custody of the kids or something. And the girl was like, not all four of us, because he don't even speak to me. And then, made Kelly feel, sad since the little girl known him since she was either, I think, 4 or something like that. 2 or 4, something like that. and he's been in her life that long, and because they're going through what they're going through, he's kind of abandoned her. And the little girl says, she don't want to be like her mother, she don't want to get married. So how'd you feel about that scene?
I feel like it was kind of sad,
Yeah.
for her, like as a little girl. That's what sucks with these when men, and when marriages break up and stuff, like he's not her biological father. And I guess, just would be nice if you would just continue to be the upstanding, person that you introduce yourself to her to be, but not everybody not everybody gets that, like it's funny because I don't know my biological father, but I have a stepdad my mom married when I was probably about 11, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And they didn't stay married very long, like maybe a few years, like 3 years or something. But the funny thing about my relationship with him is that I do consider him, I refer to him as my father. And at I'm 44, I'll be 45 this year. But even to this day, he still treats me like I'm his daughter, like I said, and I think he's been divorced from my mom 30 years or so. And so much so, like he's so cute. He calls me every time he's passing by, like my old middle school or the high school, or my favorite
Okay.
restaurant, stuff like that. He called me on the phone, like, "Oh, I was just passing, Mr. Goodies. Like, I thought about you." So that's what it's like. So it made me sad that she's going through something like that, because that is just another form of abandonment that she doesn't deserve. You know what I mean? Like outside of whatever the story is with her not biological father. Um, but Kelly's, I feel like they're gonna be okay. I thought it was so funny when Kelly said something to her about meditating, and so she said, "I'll just go to therapy." I thought that was so funny. Like it was like I'm tired of thinking about this. Like,
But you know what I did notice though with Drew and Ralph, that even though she was gone for the weekend or however long, that oldest boy was still there with Ralph. I said, okay, because when you look at the comparison of those two situations, so I was like,
right.
okay, because they made a big deal about Ralph not adopting that boy.
Yeah, they did.
Yes, girl, hold on a second here. So, God darn it. Shoot, give me 1 second here,
Okay.
and I'll be right back.
Well, we can get on to the brunch then. Really, I think for the most part, throughout the episode, after we get done with Kelly and her daughter meeting um for yoga, I feel like that's the next thing we do is go to the brunch. So Kelly organizes a brunch for the ladies. Portia's unable to make it because she is feeling under the weather. I feel like she ain't want to deal with Drew. So listen, she was like, let me skip this. And maybe she didn't really want to be bothered with Brit all that much. I don't know where she's staying with Brit as of yet. We know where she's staying today with Brit because she is a Brit stan, okay, today. But at that time, maybe she just really didn't even want to be bothered with some of the hoopla that was going to take place. But all the ladies arrive. I really like the decor. I'm gonna make lemonade out of lemons type of girl. As a matter of fact, I think I got lemons in my kitchen right now. That's some of the decor. So I really like the table set up and the like name plates. I thought it was really cute and nice and really summertime-ish. I don't know. It was really cute. Um, and so what Kelly opens the floor, like basically lets everybody know that they're there to support Brit, and opens the floor up for Brit to I guess address everybody. Brit seemed to be agitated because I didn't necessarily hear anybody trying to take up for Kenya. I think, I don't know. I didn't see anything out sideways, but she seemed to be annoyed that the people had talked to Kenya. I think she said, "Oh, so you guys are talking to her," and it's like I don't know why you thought they wouldn't. You know what I mean? Like if they're gonna talk to you, but she was really again. Here we go with this hard on you have for Kenya. So that kind of metamorphosed into her playing this victim role and explaining that she might lose her license because of what Kenya did. And so Angela's like, well, why would that happen? Like, what
What's
caused?
the cause? Yeah.
Yeah, and so she's, then she snaps at Angela, which Angela, honey, was like, wait a minute now. And yeah, wait a minute, where is this coming from? I don't know, but somebody might say that maybe Angela should not have asked her anything like that. Like maybe she should not have tried to pry into those details. But I feel like that's a normal thing because yeah, how you gonna tell me that there's a rumor or some, you know what I mean, something like that, and now you're telling me you're about to lose, like you might not have your license because of it? Like, yeah, you would have to give me a more hardcore reason, which would be that something that she did is some truth to whatever is going on.
Yeah.
And she just had a lot of smoke. I didn't know why she came at Angela the way she did. Angela looked like she was ready to knock fire from her tail, so much so she had to get up and walk across the room to the other side of the table. And so Samia kind of smoothed it over. But still want to know, like, yeah, like, what does this mean? So she said, maybe I can ask the question. So she asked her, and that's what Brit actually discloses, that she's under investigation.
Girl, a whole lie. A whole lie.
Yeah.
A whole lie. First of all, why would the state, honestly, would about some things that happened at an event with some old pictures, really, want to investigate her license that has nothing to do with how she's servicing any clients? If it had, if she did she pick up a felony? Did she do any forgery, any kind of fraud, wire fraud? Nothing. So this, I mean, I feel like, girl, I held them license. I do have another kind of, it's just she didn't expect
she didn't
Angela to say anything.
Have other information, because that's what I'm saying. Like, it's a reach because you're still playing this victim, like, and you milking it. I'm the victim. That's why I don't know what you're talking about her for. Why are you trying to tell me her point of view? Like, why do you care?
Yeah.
Well, you see that's what she's telling Angela. You see who's here, and see, it was like, that's the nastiness that Kenya had, like you said, when that happened with her and Portia. She said, you're gone. But that was the same thing. You say, well, you see who's here, you see who's not here. Like, read the room.
What are we reading? We're reading that you are lying.
Yeah.
You a lying asshole. That's what you are. That's what we're reading.
Lame. I don't, Brittany can go. But I hear from Portia say that Brit and Angela gonna have some back and forth.
Yes, and for some reason, Brit and Kelly falls out too. So
with that attitude, I can just about see
because
why.
he went from being the victim and crying to jumping all over Angela's ass. Yeah, you can see it all just turned. And I'm like, I don't know. I don't like Brit. I can't.
I don't either. I don't see it for her.
I really don't.
The way that they did on Watch What Happens.
Girl,
so,
yes.
Like I said, here's the thing with Kenya. Kenya, you piss those people off bad, honey, because they do not see it for you. The way that they let that lady come on there and talk. First of all, talking about, well, I don't have any weapons. Fine,
girl.
You know what I mean. But here's the point. Where do you get that from? Like, that can't be okay. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, honey, Kenya, them people that want you, they've been wanting you gone.
Girl, yes. And plus paying that high salary too.
Yeah.
Girl, they was like, okay, we're about to get rid of her.
You just wrote your own pink slip where that's concerned.
Yeah.
But that's, I mean, again, that was pretty much the episode. Like you said, it really didn't, that was probably the most entertaining portion of it to be quite honest. Like I said, we see Portia film everywhere in the world or everywhere in Atlanta but her house. They
got Portia looking homeless.
Okay, right, looking like
a homeless housewife.
What I call other girl, the squatter, right? Like you just squatting around, honey. But y'all tell us in the comments, what do you rate this episode? What would you rate it? Like do a 1 to 10, I guess. What would you rate it? I'm sticking with the 3. I'm sticking with a 3. And I do feel like the 3 is generous. Maybe we'll give them a 4, but 3. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because it was real dry at first. It was real dry. I was like, God, it was not holding my attention until we got to that brunch. And I'm like, shit, they could have just started from there. And all that other stuff, they could have just tied it up in about 10 minutes.
I like them ending it with the electric slide. And I like what Shamia had to say to the ladies just to kind of like gather everybody and leave on a positive note about the fact that, and that's what I mean by Brit, like she really just should own whatever it is that's going on. At a certain point in your life, you have to, because what is Funky Johnny even say? Like, you don't let nobody spray you with your own.
That's right.
You know what I mean? And that's for sure. Like that's for real. You don't let nobody come spray all your damn tea. You know, it's your life.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So you gotta be the one, you run the narrative and you let a person know what's up. So, but like you say, everybody has something. And that's how I guess we should go end our live too. Everybody does have something that you probably wouldn't want anybody to know. Because life is like that. We all make mistakes and, you know, make some choices. Sometimes you wish you could go back and undo, but you can't. And so with that being said, you know, like extend grace. Like it would be a good idea to extend the same grace you would want somebody to have, you know, for you. In that sense. So that goes to Brit also. Like Brit is walking around like she the Queen of Sheba. And like I said, and she is not interesting at all. She is as interesting as a penny.
With a hole in it.
With a hole in it, okay? Like, girl, but we listen and we don't judge here.
No, we judge. That's why we here to judge.
We listen and we don't judge. Okay, no, I guess we do a little judging.
A whole lot.
If y'all like the video, subscribe to our channels so that you can help us grow, and then you can get more videos that have subjects close to what we talk about. Also, what else you got, honey? Because I'm tired, y'all. Look, my eyes getting heavy.
Girl, I got nothing but tax day tonight and tomorrow, so I'll be up burning the midnight oil.
My 22nd birthday. That's right.
Okay.
That I almost forgot. That's crazy.
Tomorrow would have been my parents' 53rd anniversary, so I'm pretty sure she's gonna go out there. So that they would usually go out to dinner. They've been divorced over 40 some years, but they usually go out to dinner on their anniversary day. So and she just mentioned it tonight. So I was like, oh, so I'm pretty sure she'll be out there to the rehab center. Maybe he'll get up out of the bed, girl. But girl, until I can get done with this thing on these taxes, because I still gotta do my 2022s.
Yeah.
Girl.
Do it.
Girl. So I'm just like, and everybody dropping their stuff out tonight. I'm like, okay, I get to them when I get to them, because I got mine first. I always save mine for last, and then if you know your stuff already late, so it'll get done sometime this week. That's the way I look at it. But I got to get mine done. So thank you guys for listening to us give our opinions about the show. And until next time, you guys have a fabulous evening, a blessed week. Good night.
Good night, good night, good night.
Okay, let's go.